This is it. This is it. Let's go!
Yo, welcome to the show where the energy's flown. It's your boy dropping heat. This is the Ozone. Step into the arena where legends are made. From the courts to the fields, watch the highlights played. Football, hoops, baseball, it's all fair game. If it's sports, we bring the fire, put respect on the name. Stats and debates, we break it all down. From the rookies to the GOATs who wear the crown. No halftime, all grind, we're setting the tone. It's prime time, baby, you're in the Ozone. Yo, it's passion, precision, the plays we dissect. From the underdogs, grinding to the Hall of Fame vets. This is more than a podcast, it's a sports throne. Let's kick it off right, welcome to the Ozone.
You have entered the Ozone with Omar and Dave.
Let's go, baby. We are here, and you guys have officially entered the Ozone. You know, it's your boy Omar here with my co-host, super producer Dave himself. But, brother, this is a very special episode as we're honoring my late brother, Zig Fresh. You know what I'm saying? So you already know the vibes. This is why I'm donning the Atlanta Braves fitted. This is a special week because this was his favorite team. There's no other way in honoring Zig Fresh by getting Met fans a little salty, rocking an Atlanta Braves fitted. He wouldn't want it any other way. But brother, how we feeling this week?
I thought you were just signing over to the Dodgers, but we forgive you for this week. But Zake, we miss you. You were probably the funniest guy in the room. Always to turn like a bad situation into something to laugh about. Your energy is missed. It's been a long week, bro. But we're not gonna get into that.
We're not going to get into that, but what we are going to get into is there's a new sheriff in town, brother, because a familiar face is running the place. And you're probably mentioning, who the heck are you talking about, Omar? But you know what? We talking about the Detroit Lions defensive coordinator, Aaron Glenn, who has been hired as the new head coach for the New York Jets. He is becoming the 22nd head coach in franchise history. But brother, before you go off, Aaron Glenn has ties to this Jets franchise as he once played in the NFL. He was drafted 12th overall by the New York Jets in 1994. He played 7 seasons, so from 94 to 2001, making 3 Pro Bowls. So he's got some ties. He's got some ties with the organization, and now he's back as the head coach. How we feeling about this hiring, brother?
Personally, I love it. Go for it. Why? And I'll tell you why. Because I don't think it's gonna be great. Let me go. Let's spin back some history. So let's go back 10 years. In 2015, Todd Bowles was their head coach. That was the last time I think they had a positive record. They were 10-6. Since then, and let's remind you, Todd Bowles was a defensive-minded coach. Since then, they've been 5-11, 5-11, 4-12, 7-9, 2-14. Sorry, 7-9 was with Adam Gase. 2-14 was with Adam Gase. Then they switched over to Robert Salah. You did so great because you went 4-13 and 7-10, 7-10, and this year you started the season with him. You went 2-3, and then you went to Jeff Ulbrich and you went 3-9. Wow. You went with the same offensive. I get it.
Uh,
Ben Johnson was the guy that most Jets fans wanted. And what you ended up doing was going to get another defensive-minded coach. I'm very interested to see if Aaron Rodgers wants to stay with this team because that shows if he. How do you feel about people of color? Let's just see about that. Because he said the coaching decision is what makes him decide, does he want to stay? Then you have Garrett Wilson who wants to be traded. He wants out. You traded for Devontae Adams, and if Aaron Rodgers retires, he's left there in the Jets. It's don't get me wrong. Teams can turn it around with the right coach and the right GM and all these things put in place. I give the benefit of the doubt to teams that actually care about improving with an owner who doesn't interfere or meddle. But this is the Jets we're talking about. So we're gonna get the same old thing. For my Jets fans who are friends to me, I hope better days are upon you. Like, they're somewhere there. Maybe far, far in the distance. Maybe this guy turns it around, but honestly, I'm seeing the same thing coming again. That's just my
uh,
thoughts.
I think with this hiring, I don't know how to feel about it. I don't know how to feel about it. Just before I make my point, I just want to highlight Aaron Glenn's coaching history. From 2014 to 2015, he was the assistant defensive backs coach. Uh, in 2016 to 2020, he was the defensive backs coach for the New Orleans Saints. With the Detroit Lions, he was a defensive coordinator for the past 3 years, 2021 to 2024. So uh, before I even dive into my thoughts on this man has went through the rankings. He has done everything. The head coach. This is not, because of the topic of DEI. This is not that. This is a man that went through the rankings. He's went through everything that, in like how we talked about head coaches having to go through the ranks and building himself up and building that credibility. So congratulations to him. The only thing that I'm a little not worried because I'm gonna be honest, I'm not a Jets fan, but I want the Jets to be successful. Unlike you, I know you don't want them to be. That's okay, but I want the thing that I fear is what you touched on, brother. This is the same pattern. This is the same pattern. And the Jets lack an identity, a solid foundation. And I think they should have went more of a veteran head coaching route. I don't even think Ben Johnson. I'll be honest, I kind of wanted Rex Ryan to come back. But I thought maybe they should have pivoted, with Mike McCarthy being out in Dallas, going towards a veteran head coach. There was a lot of veteran head coaches out there. Hey, look, you fired Robert Saleh in what after week 4. So you had an opportunity to bring in a Bill Belichick, even at that. You know, the thing is, I feel like this is doing the same pattern. You know what I mean? Like you touched on, Todd Bowles, let's say Todd Bowles, Adam Gase, Robert Saleh, you're bringing in coordinators that have never been head coaches prior, and you're bringing them in, and we've seen the results. They haven't been good. They just haven't been good. So you think, okay, and this is a veteran core, as you touched on, brother. As of right now, Devontae Adams is still on the roster. Aaron Rodgers is still on the roster. You have a good crop of young players, Garrett Wilson, Brees Hall. So you would think, okay, the Jets are sort of in a win now, especially with the young players with Brees Hall, Garrett Wilson. They're no longer in that, okay, we're happy to be there in the league. Now they want to win. So you're in that position, and I'm gonna be sorry. I'm sorry. There's a man playing a game, an AFC championship game that's in your division. You have been stuck with Tom Brady dominating your division for 20 years. Now you have the Josh Allen era. You need to start doing something now. Like you trying to rebuild and try. I don't know if Aaron Glenn is the right guy. No, let me not say that he's not the right guy because we don't know whether he's the right guy. I just think it's the same approach. And that approach has failed because your judgment on these coordinators have all missed. You have not hit on it. Robert Sala had the same kind of cred that Aaron Glenn is having now. You look, oh wow, a great defensive coordinator. With his years in San Francisco, which he's been hired again, as Robert Sala is back with the Niners as the defensive coordinator. And you felt like, wow, this guy, players loved him, this and this and that. It's the same thing. It's the same thing with this Aaron Glenn hiring. And it's like, what is this gonna produce? What is this gonna produce? Hopefully he can change it, but this is another kind of let's throw things at the wall kind of hiring and see if it sticks.
And the thing is that, like, most of these coaches, when they're hired for the first time, and this is not even about a white black thing, this is just about new coaches or coordinators who are now head coaches. You think of the ones that were successful. All right, the one that comes to mind is Mike Tomlin. But Mike Tomlin inherited one of the best teams that you could inherit. They just came off a Super Bowl win. Their coach retires, and they still have Ben Roethlisberger, and they have a great roster. You inherited such a great team, and don't get me wrong, Mike Tomlin, you're about 500. You go every year about the same record. Um, but at the end of the day, he inherited a great team. Now you have others, Sean McVay. You have Mike McDaniels, right, from Miami. They inherited great teams, and they can go from there and make the roster and make the adjustments. And the Rams did a lot of things where they traded their future so that way they can win now, and they ended up getting a championship out of there. The Jets, unfortunately, you are inheriting a great team, but you're not changing the mold. It's the same thing over and over. And
Are
don't
they
get
a
me
great
wrong,
team? Are they a great team?
who
The Jets. I don't think so.
you're inheriting a good roster. You have, like, if you were taking Bill Belichick and you put him with that roster, I think you get something different. And don't get me wrong, that's another defensive minded coach, but he's won it. He's proven it.
He's the
So
greatest coach of all time.
there we go. So it's just more so repeating the same old habits. And don't get me wrong, somebody could turn it around. The offensive coordinator can make a difference. That's a lot of things that could come together. But it just seems like it's just the same old, same old. And I don't know, how do you improve this if you keep on doing the same thing? That, to me, isn't that the definition of insanity? Repeating the same thing and
Yes, it
expecting different
is.
results. So
Yeah. Yeah. Um, you look at you get the Sean McVay thing is it's an anomaly. It's not the stand. You're not gonna, it's very rare you bring in this new coordinator that comes out of nowhere and is able to shift the franchise and make and change the whole dynamic and the foundation of a franchise. And this is where I question the Jets, where it's like, San Diego, the LA Chargers try to do it, and when they're like, you know what? We're done trying that. We're bringing in somebody established. You bring in John Harbaugh. So, you know what I mean? I was expecting the Jets to do something like that. I was expecting the Jets to really go for the home run, and really, because you have a veteran group of guys, you kind of have a build win now kind of team. I gotta disagree with you on, you know with the Jets being like a good team, great team. I don't know what you're trying to say,
more so the
because
roster, more
I
so the
think what
roster.
Aaron Glenn is, this is almost, I feel like, uh what he is, I'm trying to think of, like, this is a bad situation you're coming into. You're coming into, and now you got to be the guy to either go, hey, listen, I don't want Aaron Rodgers, or you got to be the guy now have to deal with a disgruntled 40-year-old quarterback who still thinks he's in his prime. You know what I mean? It's almost like, yo, he's set up to fail.
Yeah.
And you know what I mean? So if I was Aaron Glenn, but then again, it's like, with an opportunity like this, you don't want to, you don't want to mess it up. You go right at it. I would have probably waited another year. I would have probably with Detroit, and then maybe see if there's a better opportunity. For example, I really do think if Cincinnati has a fit 500 season next year, they may get rid of their coach. I think there would have been better situations. I probably, if I was him, I don't know if he had any offers from like Jacksonville. I just think like those teams would have been I felt like a better situation than the Jets. But I get that his ties with the Jets probably swayed in his decision. And, the Jets, hey, look, man, like I said, the Jets are just throwing anything on the wall and seeing what sticks. And hopefully, for the sake of New York and for the sake of Jet fans, I hope that it works out, and I hope that he is able to change the identity of this team. But speaking of changing identities, the Knicks did that this week, because the Knicks go perfect 3-0. And we're going to talk about it right now on This Week in Knicks.
This week in Knicks.
All right, This Week in Knicks, the Knicks were perfect this week, which means I was perfect this week with my Knicks picks, as the Knicks went 3-0 with wins over Trey Young and the hated Atlanta Hawks, followed by a nail biter in Brooklyn. A nail biter in Brooklyn. But we escaped that with the win. And then this past Saturday, the Knicks make it a perfect 3-0 week as they crush the Sacramento Kings. This was probably the most balanced offensive game from the Knicks. OG Anunoby, 33 points. Josh Hart, another triple-double, his sixth triple-double this season, making him too shy of breaking Walt Frazier's Knick triple-double season record. So right now, brother, put up the score. Yeah, I'm leading. You want to explain this bet, brother? You want to explain this bet right now
So
that I'm leading right now in?
Omar has taken a lead, but let me explain what's going on. So I I'm very into nerd stuff and video games. So there's a podcast I watch, and there's a guy who likes to put bets. But of course, we don't want to put money on the line. That's when things get messy, and it's just whatever. It's between me and Omar. So I said, you know what? We live in Florida. Publix is our go-to when we want a sandwich. So I said, let's put a chicken tender sub on the line. And if you haven't had one, go have one. Publix sponsor us. Why not? But that's what's on the line at the end of the season. Whoever has the best record from their predictions ends up getting a chicken tender sub paid by the loser. With the works. If you want to go and have bacon and extra chicken or whatever the case may be, the loser pays that. So that's what's on the line. As of right now, I am losing, but maybe I could turn it around. We'll see. The Knicks are about to get a break, and hopefully my predictions turn around better.
To be fair, you did say you would hope you would be wrong because
Yes.
that, you know what I mean? So, um, let's just talk a little bit about it. The Knicks were led, they beat Atlanta 119 to 110. Um, as I, said last week, I just felt that the Knicks didn't like the way Trey Young rolled that dice in the middle of the floor, and you knew they were going to play with that energy. And Mikal Bridges, they started off a little slow in that game, but then Mikal Bridges, he gets that possession when he's locking up toe to toe on Trey Young, gets the crowd really pumped, and they were able to build from that momentum from that moment and propel them to a 119-110 win. Uh, Jalen Brunson had 34 points that day. They just played well. We got Cat back, so Cat did play the 3 games after suffering. I think he's dealing with some bone chips in his shooting hand and his thumb in his shooting hand. So that's something to look out for. As far as the Brooklyn game scared me a little bit, brother. It scared me a little bit. It was a back-to-back. Sometimes the Knicks have a habit in playing to the level of their competition. They play with their food, so to speak. But Towns had a monster game, 25 points, 16 rebounds. And then you look at the game this past Saturday, where they just crushed Sacramento. And I knew that was going to happen. The Knicks had 3 days off. They looked good. OG Anunoby, 33 points, as I touched on. Josh Hart had a triple-double, 20 points, 18 rebounds, 11 assists. Uh, right now, they're rolling. Right now, they're rolling. They're 3 straight right now. You look at the standings, they are 2 games behind the Boston Celtics right now for the second seed in the Eastern Conference. And I like where they're at right now, bro. This was a very good week for the Knicks.
Yeah, it really was, and it's one of those things with the Knicks that sometimes, and you kind of you referenced it. They're playing with their food. They're playing to the level of their competition. It's one of those like you let your foot off the gas, and then like you give them a chance, and that has been a thing that they've done with teams. Like when we played Atlanta the last time, and this is what led to my prediction of them losing to the Hawks this week, was more so like you start off hot and then something just happens. I don't know what happens going into that half, but I don't know if it's tired. I don't know if it's just, the road games and, whatever the case may be. It just happens too often where they're just not giving it their all. And that was what like made my consideration for them to lose the game. Thankfully, I was wrong. They won, and I loved it. And I even texted Omar right after. I'm like, "This is one." Omar can literally. We could put up the screenshot. I literally was happy I lost that one. Like, that's fine. I'm perfectly fine with the Knicks winning. And then, Brooklyn won. That one actually had me at the edge of my seat. I paused what I was gaming and I was just like, yeah, no, let me finish this game first. And then, we did do what we wanted to do against Sacramento. That's what we need to do against teams like that. We need to just put our foots on their neck and just kill.
Yeah,
Um,
especially at home. Especially at home. That game
yeah.
was at home. So
So how going into the week now, how are we feeling? What are your predictions for this week?
so this is a tough week, and this is why I'm happy that the Knicks had such a good week. So now you can ride a momentum because it's gonna be a tough week. It's gonna be a tough week as of this recording. As this airing of this episode, the Knicks play tonight. They play the Memphis Grizzlies tonight, followed by Wednesday, January 29th. They play the Denver Nuggets. For those guys, I know Optimum is still beef with the MSG network. You guys will be able to see them on ESPN. So I want to keep mindful of that. That was brought to my attention when we're talking about upcoming games. to let those that may have optimum, let them know, guys, that two of the games this week will be on ESPN and ABC. So you guys will be able to watch the Knicks this week. So that's a good thing. So Wednesday they play in the Denver Nuggets, and then they close out the week Saturday, February 1st, as they play LeBron James and the Los Angeles Lakers. All three games are being in the Garden. Right now, the Knicks are in the middle of they just started their 5-game homestand at the Garden. So three tough games, three tough Western Conference teams, three teams that are fighting for good standings in the playoffs. I believe the Memphis Grizzlies are second in the West. I mean third. They're tied for second and third in the West. They're 31 and 15. Denver is 28 and 17, and the Lakers are 25 and 18. So the Knicks are going to be playing a 3, 4, and 5 seed in the NBA. As much as I would like the Knicks to go 3-0, brother, I got a 2-1 record.
Okay.
And to clarify, if Dave and I have the same predictions, we need to be specific on where we think the loss and the wins are going to come from. I'm contemplating between uh Wednesday and Monday. I'm gonna be honest, I haven't seen enough Memphis. I've seen enough Denver, so this is where I'm gonna go. I think we lose to Memphis on Monday. I think we beat Denver. Since getting OG Anunoby, the Knicks match up really well with Denver. And that's crazy to say because Denver has the best basketball player in the world right now in Nikola Jokic. But the Knicks just played Denver really well. And this is not the Denver team that won 2 years ago. This Denver team lacks depth, sort of similar to the Knicks. But I don't think they shoot well enough to beat the Knicks if the Knicks are playing their style of basketball. So I got them beating Denver, and I got them beating the Lakers. I don't think the Lakers are that good of a team. Although they do have a pretty solid record, and as I touched on, they are currently fifth in the Western Conference. I think they're in that tier below the Knicks, where the Knicks is in that tier with the Boston Celtics, the Cleveland Cavaliers, the Memphis Grizzlies, OKC Thunder. I don't think the Lakers are on that. The Lakers are just more the name. Obviously, I expect LeBron James to show up. He always tries to show off in the Garden. But I got us winning that game as well. So I got the Knicks finishing 2-1 with a loss to Memphis and back-to-back wins to close out the week with Denver and LA.
Okay. And you made it really hard for me because I was leaning the same way. I was leaning the
That's all
same way.
right.
So,
That's all right.
and it's one of those things that is just I can see us losing to the Grizzlies. The Grizzlies are a really scrappy team. They're young, and they're really good. So I'm gonna lean with us losing against the Grizzlies. I can see us beating Nikola Jokic, which is one you referenced, one of the best players in the world and two-time MVP, Finals MVP. So I got us winning that game, but it's gonna be a tough one. It's gonna go down to the wire for that game. That's my prediction. Like outside of that, and then I got us beating the Lakers.
Yeah, yeah. So I don't, we're not gonna just disagree just for the sake of
No, I'm
disagreeing.
not
Like
gonna do that just
that,
for that. Then I'm gonna
yeah,
lose my standings, and then I'm just losing.
yeah.
Just we're not doing that.
uh, but we're also not playing it safe. So this is how we truly feel about it. But before we wrap up this week in Knicks, we also found out that our very own Jalen Brunson and Karl Anthony Towns has been voted by the people and the players, combination of the two. I believe in the writers, NBA writers as well, a combination of the three, and they have been selected as the Eastern Conference All-Star starters. Jalen Brunson and Karl Anthony Towns are the first duo in the Knicks franchise since 50 years to be voted in as All-Star game starters. The last was Wolf Frazier and Earl of Pearl Monroe. This is a great feat for the Knicks. As a long Knick fan, I remember advocating for Eddie Curry to make an All-Star game, Tim Hardaway to make an All-Star game. So, I was happy when we got Melo those years, and then we got like Tyson Chandler, Amari sprinkled in, David Lee. But to get two NBA starters in the All-Star game, yo, we deserve that. I don't care what anybody says.
Yeah, and I mean it's sometimes you think it's a popularity vote that gets them there, but it's more so like these guys actually deserve it. Like they're putting on for the season, and we're seeing the rewards of the Leon Rose era of making those decisions and getting guys who are going to put New York on the map. Once again, we did give praise to Julius Randle for being with us during those dark days, but at the end of the day, we needed to pivot, and we are now seeing the rewards of that. Hopefully that brings other good things in our future where New York is holding the post trophy pretty soon. We know the Liberty just did it this last year, and thank you for bringing a championship to New York for basketball, but we want to see the Knicks hold one too. So hopefully this is the trend going up. This is what we want to see.
Yeah,
So thank you, Brunson. Thank you, Towns. We'll be watching, and we can't wait to see you
yeah,
perform.
yeah. And you see the pop, as you touched on, popularity is a big thing. That was an issue last year where, Nick fans were kind of, it's like a civil dispute because, Brunson didn't start last year. He was selected as a reserve because he didn't get enough votes. He didn't get enough votes. I believe Damian Lillard even finished with him, but this year was it was heading that towards that trajectory, and just the Nick fans showed up. Hey man, we got to get votes for Jalen Brunson, and with the combination of the fan vote and the players voting and the writers, Jalen Brunson was able to get in. Jalen Brunson is definitely working on his portfolio as he's also has he's the fourth highest in selling in jersey merchandise. So shout out to Jalen Brunson. The Jalen Brunson hive is starting to become a national thing more than just a New York thing. Obviously, us New Yorkers, we knew Jalen Brunson was the captain, but now the people does know. But you
Yeah.
know who's
And
not
there's
trying
haters.
to acknowledge? You know who's
There's
not
the
trying to acknowledge us? Yeah. You want to know about haters? You want to know about haters? Let's talk about haters. Let's talk about big gigantic hater, and that man is Shaquille O'Neal. Shaquille O'Neal. Yo, Shaq, I got a beef with you, and I can't take it no more because I'm going off the script.
Omar is going
You
off the
heard what he
script.
said? You heard what he said about the Knicks?
I
Roll
heard.
it. Roll it. Roll it. What are you doing? Dave, roll the footage.
See, a lot of people think I don't like the Knicks. Not the truth. The truth is, I don't get hype over just winning games. I get hype over winning championships. So you ask the question, do I think they can win a championship? The answer is no. I don't
You
think
also
that.
believe New York is a little overhyped in general.
Yes, over wins. We
And I
don't.
know
Yeah, you heard that garbage, right? That is so baloney. What kind of analyst goes on television and goes, "Well, this is why I don't take the Knicks serious because they get hyped off wins. You see, me and Candace, we get hyped off championship." That is the stupidest thing I've ever heard. How do you get to a championship, brother? By winning games. So what are you talking about, Shaq? Like you would think you hear Shaq, and it's like, you know what? He is right where he said, you know what? He doesn't think he's in his right to think, okay, the Knicks may not be a championship team. That's fine. I'm not beefing about that. But you go on a national television and you go and say, oh, people think I'm a Knick hater. No, I'm not a Knick hater. It's just I don't get hype off wins. Oh, when you're on TNT, every time the Hawks win, you're going, ah, 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 ah. That's you getting hyped off wins. You get hyped off OKC. Last time I checked, OKC ain't won nothing yet. So if you want to talk about old teams getting hyped off wins, there's probably a handful of teams that you can get hyped for then. What, the Golden State Warriors that won a few years back? The Boston Celtics that won last year? Denver? That means all the other NBA teams you don't get hype off. You build championship pedigree by winning games. That's what you do. You're just a hater, Shaq. I don't know what the Knicks organization did to you. I have no idea. There is clearly hate that this man has for the New York franchise and New York in general. I'm not attacking Shaq personally. Shaq does a lot of nice things for a lot of the unfortunate out there. But as far as you and the Knicks, bro, you is the biggest hater of them all. We know it, and you know it. So stop going on national television, coach having Candace Parker of all people, who already got fact checked by Nick's Twitter last year, Because she clearly don't know what the heck she's talking about when she tried to say that Brunson struggled against the Miami Heat in the playoffs, where Brunson damn near averaged 40 a game. This is why I'm happy inside the NBA is not going to be a thing next year. Well, they will be, but they won't be on as weekly as they are. Because you know what? If TNT just hires a bunch of players that clearly don't watch the game and they're just throwing stuff out there to get this sort of reaction. And I guess it works, but you know what? I'm tired of Shaq, and I'm happy his ass is about to be unemployed.
Yeah. Um, Omar, we got to bring you back. At the end of the day, I am upset with the Shaq comments because at the end of the day, he keeps on saying, I'm not a hater, I'm not a hater. And I'm going to put some more clips of him calling himself. You know what? We're going to have to bleep that out. But, anyways,
That's not off the script. It is, bro. I can't take
it
it.
it
You
is
know, there
upsetting
was a
because
point. I don't know it. Honestly, guys, this is really off the script. I don't know what videos. We talk about what videos Dave might put up. I don't even know right now what the clip he said he's going to post up is going to be the video I'm talking about. But, bro, there was at one point the Knicks were up by 25 against the Orlando Magic, I believe it was this past season. And this man go on halftime and say, I still got Orlando. They're going to come back. And Orlando lost by like 40. This guy's a hater, bro.
Bridges got picked up. Is that enough to get New York in the conversation that they can take the East?
The Villanova.
Listen, no.
You just said you're not. You don't believe the Villanova team can win it.
You know what it is? New York is a place that's built on hype, that controls the hype. They can hype everybody else up. They haven't won, but New York, New York. So young fella can play. I was wrong about him. He was impressed, but they're nowhere close to winning the championship. They're going to win some games and do this, but I'm more impressed with at the end of your career how many championships you won. I think the Knicks are in trouble. I think they lost their identity. They're giving up 120 points in losses. When they win, they give up 98 points. They have no rim protector, and they rely on
that will get better when Mitchell Robinson come back, though.
Yeah, but I don't think it's the same.
But when they Boston out, Chuck, who's better than Cleveland in the East? The Knicks.
Stop it.
The Knicks get healthy. They're going to be the second best team in the East.
F. Smith.
I'm telling you, this team here is going to be tough to record once they get healthy.
Oh, stop it.
yeah,
He's a hater.
He is the equivalent to how I feel about the Jets. I'm always going to see the bad.
Well, you know what's not bad is our new segment that's been getting a lot of people happy, and that's called Quick Hits. All right, y'all. So you know Quick Hits. This is where we talk about everything at a lightning speed. The hits are so quick, you don't even know where it's coming from. Guys, the Yankees' own CC Sabathia has been elected to the National Baseball Hall of Fame. He'll be joined in the class of 2025 with Japanese great Ichiro Suzuki and former Mets closer Billy Wagner. Brother, what's your thoughts?
Congrats, CC, Ichiro, and Billy Wagner. You guys were great and well deserved.
Yeah, we made a video. Check us out on TikTok and Instagram about CC's career, man. CC was a big dog, came in 2009, helped us win a World Series, man. I couldn't be more happy for CC Sabathia.
All right, the Mets Amazing Day was this past Saturday. They revealed their new alternative road jerseys. You guys can see it. So, Omar, what do you think about this?
I love him. I love him. I love him. I know people are on the fence with them. I love when teams pay homage to their history, and this jersey has a very similar resemblance to the 1987 uniforms with the cursive New York. I love it. I'm a sucker for blue and orange. I'm not a Mets fan, but you know, blue and orange are the colors of the Knicks. I love them. I love them. I love them. I love them.
I don't know. There's something about like I like the jerseys, but there's something about Nike and these jerseys, and it's more so maybe the leagues, MLB, NFL, and NBA, where they're just not taking enough risk. Like something I miss is the Christmas jerseys, and those are gone from the NBA. A lot of people have said for years that baseball jerseys are kind of boring, and the Yankees could switch it up just a little bit. I do like these jerseys for the Mets, but I do want them to have them take more risk. And maybe the leagues, like, hey, just let them play a little bit of, you see the mock-ups and those are really fire. And I get some of them won't work, but give it a chance. Do something new.
That's fair. New Titans GM Mike Bergonzi hinted at prioritizing a generational talent. with the first overall pick, fueling speculation that he might draft Travis Hunter. Do you think one of the quarterbacks will fall to the Giants at number 3 after those comments?
I mean, you would think so. Maybe this is just one of those fluff things that you're trying to like lead people off, and that can change everybody's draft board. But for the most part, I think it's just talk. If they end up getting Travis Hunter, then that puts you in the prime position to get one of the two quarterbacks that is leading in the draft for that teams are after. For your guys' sake, I hope you guys get him, whoever that may be. But I think this is more so like putting it out there just to see where other teams are leaning, because you kind of get an idea from that once it gets closer. More NFL coaching hirings this week as the Dallas Cowboys hire offensive coordinator Brian Schottenheimer as the new coach. The Buccaneers offensive coordinator Liam Cohen has agreed to be the new coach for Jacksonville Jaguars. And Super Bowl champion Pete Carroll has been hired as the new coach of the Las Vegas Raiders. How are we feeling?
It's kind of like what we talked about with the Jets. I was hoping the Jets went that route with the Raiders, getting a guy like Pete Carroll. I do like the hiring. He's a Super Bowl champion. He was the creator of the Legion of Boom. I think he's going to do some good things, bringing an identity and a culture to the Raiders. Liam Cohen has done a phenomenal job as offensive coordinator, being able to rejuvenate Baker Mayfield's career. I know there's some limbo with how he got into Jacksonville, him not wanting to be there initially, and then Jacksonville firing their general manager, so he took the job again. Shout outs to him. Maybe he can, if he was able to fix Baker, maybe he can do it with Trevor Lawrence. Brian Schottenheimer as the Dallas Cowboys. It's similar to how you feel about the Jets. Thank you, Dallas. Dallas will always Dallas, and this does nothing for them, but it does something for me. So what?
Yeah.
So I'm okay with it. Jimmy Butler gets suspended once again due to missing the team's flight to Milwaukee. Is Jimmy losing all his leverage due to his behavior?
I think he is. And you think of Jimmy Butler's age, you think of how much his contract demands, you think of everything that is now being put on the table. If he gets traded to a team that he's not happy with, is that team now putting themselves in a bad position as well? I don't think Jimmy Butler has any leverage at this point. You would want to do anything you can to show other teams like, hey, I'm still wanting to play. You have idiots like Shaq. Sorry, Shaq, you're an idiot for this. But you have idiots like Shaq defending him and saying he doesn't want to go all out, but you play hard, but you don't play too hard, but you're going all out. Like, it's too confusing. At the end of the day, Jimmy Butler, show other teams what you bring to the table, because at the end of the day, you are aging and we want to see what you bring to the table. You showing up late to planes and doing all these different things is not helping your case. All right. According to Boxing News 24, Terence Crawford and Canelo Alvarez has agreed on September 13th fight. Is this the fight that people want? And what's your early predictions, bro?
I know this is the fight I want. I know people wanted to see Canelo and Benavidez. I just don't think Canelo's going to fight Benavidez. Not at the stage of his career. I do think that Crawford is a real deal, Craig Steele, and I had him when everybody thought he was going to lose to Errol Spence. So this is the fight that I want to see. I'm not sure if Crawford has the power though to beat Canelo. They're two smart fighters. This is not gonna be a brawling kind of fight. Just so to let everybody know, it's not. It's gonna be a very good technical boxing fight. But my early predictions will be Canelo Alvarez doing this. So I got Canelo Alvarez early right now, but like I said, it's too early to call right now. We have the WWE 2025 Royal Rumble next week, February 1st. Who you got, brother?
Ooh, the women's Royal Rumble, I got Charlotte Flair winning the Rumble. And then for the men's, I've been tossing this up because I'm not too sure of who is it? Where is WWE heading with their plans at this point? But I've been tossing up between John Cena and Roman Reigns. I'm gonna lean to Roman Reigns being the favorite to win, but we'll see where we go.
For the women, I didn't really think about that. I want my girl Jay Cargill to win, but clearly she ain't even been on TV. So I'm going with the man. I think Becky Lynch comes back. I think that the fact that they announced that Charlotte Flair is coming to the Royal Rumble this past Friday on SmackDown, I think is because they got a bigger surprise, and I think it's the man Becky Lynch. I think Becky Lynch comes back and wins the Rumble. And as far as the men's Royal Rumble, I've always been his fan, and I will always be his fan. John Cena. Let's end it. The final tour, the final year. Let's main event WrestleMania. Let's bring the title home, baby.
And we got the NFL championship games coming this Sunday. So we're recording right before the game starts. So unfortunately, by the time this airs, we won't know who the winners are until then. So, Omar, who do you got in these games?
Man, this is a tough one. I'll tell you this. I'll get off the NFC. If anyone's ever seen the Batman movie where the
We,
field implodes, I hope that happens in Philadelphia because I could care less what team wins that game. But I must pick the lesser of two evils. But wait a minute. I kind of gave you some stuff on that last week. I personally think the Eagles are going to win this game. But I want the Washington Commanders to win, but I think the Eagles win. Unfortunately, I think the Eagles win. And this is going to be not a bold prediction because I think this is a toss up with the Chiefs and the Bills. I got the Bills. I got the Bills by a lot. I got this feeling that the Bills are going to pummel the Chiefs in Arrowhead. So I got Eagles, Bills, Super Bowl.
so last week I made a comment about losing my hair because I was trying to defend the Bills and I had to pick them. At the end of the day, I don't want to see the Chiefs in another Super Bowl, and it's one of those things that once you've been there too many times, people get tired of seeing you. The Patriots went through that. Other teams have gone through it when they're just in the picture again and again. I don't want to see the Chiefs in this. So my pick in this game is going to be the Chiefs. I can never root for the Bills, and I know it's not so much more so of just rooting. It's just one of those things that those kind of teams they find a way to win. And while the Bills are the favorite, there's a reason why the Chiefs are the former champs. They're already two times. They're about to. They could three-peat. There's a reason why they're there, and they picked up good pieces during the year. They got Hollywood Brown back. They got DeAndre Hopkins. There's a lot of things that can go right for them with this team. I do think that Josh Allen is going to put on one hell of a game, and he will once again show why he deserves to be the MVP. But I still think that the Chiefs pull this one out, even if it is by a questionable call. For the other game with the Eagles and Commanders, I am leaning more towards the Eagles winning this game. I know last week you said that they were relying too much on Saquon, but you can clearly see Saquon has been just balling. And as much as he's been running this year, I still think he's on fresh legs. It's not being put in tough situations. He's just blowing by the defense in these games, and I do got the Eagles winning this one. Jaden Daniels, you're an amazing talent, and you have a great future ahead of you, especially if that team invests in you and puts the right pieces around you. But I don't got you winning this game, so I'm going with the Eagles. Breaking news, y'all. I just signed with the LA Dodgers. I'm just playing. So we finally have the results of the championship games today. For the NFC, we have the Eagles beating the Commanders, and they will be moving on. It was not even close, as this score tells you all you need to know about this game. And just like I predicted, the Chiefs beat the Bills, and they are moving on. So our Super Bowl matchup is the Chiefs versus the Eagles. Where have I seen this before? That's why. We're getting the same matchup again, and we're going to have a lot to cover in the next week or so. So stay tuned for our thoughts on how we feel about going towards this game. If you're asking my early prediction, it is the Chiefs, but we have a lot to uncover from here to then. So just stay tuned and comment in below. Who do you think is going to win? We'll see, guys.
So yeah, let's see what it comes out, guys. We are gonna have a Super Bowl preview show coming up in the coming weeks. We will give you guys the full details of that next week. So, but you know what, guys, we cannot wrap up an episode without sharing with you guys the highlight of the week.
He's on fire!
All right, this weekend highlight of the week, we got, and we mentioned him because he's going to be facing our New York Knicks this week. We got the Denver superstar center, Nikola Jokic, as he makes a full court, not a half court, a full court heaves straight net against the very Sacramento teams that we smoked on Saturday. Brother, Can this guy get any better?
You know what's crazy? You ever like fans, people who are watching into the show, and Omar, you can vouch for this. You ever watched Nikola Jokic play? This man doesn't look like he wants to be there. Like half of his shots look like they're just lazy efforts, but they go in. He runs like if he's like the last person who wants to play on a team, and he's just like, oh, I guess I have to run after the ball. But the guy's an amazing talent. This guy's just there. Honestly, I think he's there just for his horses. This is the way he gets money for his horse betting. But
He
the
clearly
guy's an
sees the
amazing.
NBA as a job. Like this is not like a passion. He sees it as a job.
It honestly
Like,
comes out that way. And mind you, he's already considered the best player in the world. Imagine if
I
he
think he
looked.
is.
Imagine, and I'm pretty sure he does. It's maybe an appearance thing, but imagine he gave it like MJ effort. Oh my God, I'd be scared of what Jokic could bring into the table. But that shot, he just like it's just one of those like, yeah, let's see what happens, and it went. It worked. It's an amazing talent, guys. Enjoy the
Yeah, man.
highlight.
Shout out to Nikola Jokic as he has multiple MVPs, but no bigger accolade than being the recipient of the highlight of the week here on the Ozone. But guys, we thank you guys. It's been another great week of the Ozone. Remember, guys, to like, share, comment. Comment what's your thoughts, guys. What's your thoughts on Aaron Glenn becoming the new Jets head coach? Do you guys agree that this might have been the right hire? You guys let us know in the comments below. Let us know about this week in Knicks. Are you hype? Are you a little nervous about these top 3 games that the Knicks are about to be playing? Let us know everything on your quick hits. Do you agree with our takes? What's your Super Bowl prediction coming up? And who do you think is going to win the Royal Rumble? It's a lot to uncover, and we hope to hear from you guys on all our platforms. Please be sure to follow us on Instagram, on TikTok. That's where you get daily content. This is where you get the daily news on everything New York and everything Ozone, guys. So we thank you guys for tapping in with us this week and look forward to another new episode next Monday, 12 noon on YouTube. So some love to your boys. Put the thumbs up, and we see you guys next week.
This is more than a podcast. It's a sports throne. Let's kick it off right. Welcome to the Ozone.
The Chiefs. Again.